All right, just an injury update. Kyle Phillips, obviously, you guys saw that it looked bad. Multiple issues with his ankle. He'll have surgery. He'll be out for the year. Um, that's a tough loss for us. He's been a really good player for us the last year and a half. But we expect him to make a full recovery. It's going to be a long rehab process for him. But we should get him back at obviously next year. Jordan Jenkins, he had a rib issue during the game. He fought through it. You guys will see him. That'll pop up on the injury report. He'll probably miss a day of practice. We think he's going to be able to go for the game and then get some practice time in. But, really it's going to be about us making sure we do a good job protection-wise and pain tolerance for him. It's just one of those things that's really hard to, it's just going to be a lot of pain for him, going further. And then Perryman is in the concussion protocol, and, we'll let that take its course. We'll find out about that as the week goes on. Just an update on where we're at with two guys. Crowder, we were doing a further evaluation today just to see where he is at as far as, his ability to move around and see how sore he is and kind of see if we made any progress there the last couple of days. And then Sam Ficken, same thing. We're going to do, an evaluation today. It's probably going on right now to just kind of see where he's at so we can figure out where he's going to be for this week. So with that, any questions?
As a reminder, please press *3 to ask Coach a question. Brian from the Post, your line is active.
Adam, after watching this film, do you have a firmer grasp of what changed first half to second half for you guys offensively?
Yeah, I think what they did was they did a good job of getting their safeties heavily involved in the second half. First half, we saw, quite a bit of zone. They were mixing in some man and some pressures and things like that. In the second half, it was more just full bombardment of whether it's a safety pressure or one of the safeties in the box, and they were doing a good job. Those two guys did a great job as far as when their number was called, they made the play that needed to be made. We made some minor errors that at least could have helped us, probably put us in some better position. I think the penalty on 3rd and 11, that one hurt us. We get the conversion, and then we get an illegal formation penalty, which when it wipes away a 3rd and 11, that could swing some momentum for us there. That was an important drive. Really, at the end of the day, we just didn't have enough plays in the second half. First half is more what we're looking for, and we got things we got to get cleaned up.
Rich from ESPN, your line is active.
Hey, Adam, I have a question and a follow. So, after watching it again, how did Sam play in the second half?
There was, it was collapsing quick on him. He was trying to get the ball out. He didn't have much opportunity. The few times that he did, it was a tight window. Throws there. We got to finish some of these couple plays. But it was really tough. There was a lot of bodies coming at him. There were some free guys. There was some leakage. It just, things weren't that clean. He did not have a lot of time to figure out where to throw the ball.
And my follow-up would be on Sam. By any objective measure, he's regressed this year. Do you agree with that?
It depends what you're looking at, Rich. You look statistically, we're not good anywhere statistically. What I see in practice a lot of times, I see things that were better than last year when we get in the games. We just got to figure out a way to, protect him, let him get in a rhythm. I saw some really good stuff the first half. Then it started getting really muddy there in the second half to where, those guys started creating some pocket push and the windows were closing quick, and he was trying to make the decisions quickly, and, we didn't have success doing that.
As a reminder, please press *3 to ask Coach a question. Brian from the Post, your line is active.
Adam, I had two for you. One, how you made the decision on the play calling for this week? And the second one is, are there positives you can take out of yesterday or playing, a more competitive game?
Yeah, as far as the play calling goes, there was a lot of things that I liked about last week, the way that we did things, from everything from game planning to meetings to how we did practice. We were still kind of working through some of the, overall details of how we want to go about this week. Dal and myself, we got together this morning, started talking through some of that stuff, and, we got to finish that conversation later today. But I thought there was a lot of positives that came out of this last game when it comes to that area. As far as the overall game, when we got the ball with a minute 57 left in a timeout, we're giving ourselves a chance to go tie the game up. I thought defense did a good job holding those guys to a field goal where it's 3rd and 1. They got a chance to end the game, and we figured out a way to stop them. They kick a field goal, and we're still alive. We just got to figure out. We got to figure out a way to make some of those plays that we're missing. We had three other opportunities for interceptions. We had some opportunities, in the red zone that we got to figure out a way to get a 4th and 1. It seems like has been our Achilles heel, that we try to get aggressive, we try to go for it, continue the drive, and we're getting stuffed on some of these plays. So, if we can just get some of these, one-off plays fixed, maybe it can change the momentum of the game.
To ask Coach a question, please press star 3. Rich from ESPN, your line is active.
Yeah, another two-parter. I know you loved them, Adam. So this week, looking ahead, can you just talk about the enormity of the challenge facing defending Super Bowl champs on the road, given your current state of your team?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's an opponent that we have to play outstanding complementary football. It has to be 3 phases working together. Defensively, they know what they're dealing with. When you got Patrick Mahomes back there, and then a ton of athletic, elite skill players, and then a good offensive line to boot, it makes it tough. Defensively, offensively, we're going to have our hands full. Obviously, they got some really, really good players. They can create pressure very quickly in the pass game. They can stop the run, and then when you got a back end like they do, where you get their hands on a lot of balls and are very disruptive and are going to make sure it's tight coverage, and when they pressure, it's problematic. So, on special teams, that's another thing. You're dealing with a elite return team. So, we got to play really, really good team football.
And the follow-up would be, this is going to be a big storyline this week. It's coming. You're facing Le'Veon so quickly after releasing him. He's going to be highly motivated for this game, probably looking to make you guys look bad for letting him go or whatever. So from your perspective, what's it going to be like, looking across from, from one sideline to the other, seeing him so quickly after you guys separated?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be worried about just winning a game, period. That's what most players are worried about. They're worried about, hey, what do I got to do this week to, help my team win? So I'm sure that's what he's going to be worried about doing. We got a lot of guys to worry about on that side of the ball against them.
Andy from The Record, your line is active.
Adam, one of the things with a quarterback is you kind of expect him in these close games, especially with the talent that we see that Sam has, to be able to kind of overcome some of these things and make plays to win the game. So in your 2 winnable games this year, I know he's had to overcome a lot, but why do you think he hasn't been able to do that? And then I have a second question after that.
Well, I thought with what he did in that last drive, we get a sack, and then he shoots a ball down the sideline, which I thought was, it was an aggressive and tight throw. And, unfortunately, BP got, we lose BP on that play, and we get a first down there. He scrambles, which I thought was really, what he did was really good. He found a way to get out of the pocket. He scrambles, he gets us another first down, and then we have a holding call. Most times when you have a 2-minute drive like that, if you have one penalty, majority of the time it's over. We found a way to have a negative play on the first play and then get out of that, and then we put ourselves behind the 8 ball again. So, there's some things that are out of his control. I do think there's certain things that he does really well that he's trying to do the right thing and putting us in position, and we got to be better as a group around him.
And then secondly, in terms of his mindset, there's got to be some frustration, obviously, with the record where it is and how he's not playing at the level he wants to play. Do you have to talk to him about that? How do you think he's handling it, and just kind of where is he at on that?
Yeah, we talked last night. I just keep thinking he's 23. And none of this can be easy. He's a guy that did so much good in college and won a lot of football games, and things haven't always gone as smoothly as everybody always hopes when they get to the NFL. This is what makes the NFL really tough, and it's a mental battle. Majority of the time is can you survive the test? Can you get better through the adversity that you have to go through? You see a lot of guys going through it right now. There's a lot of teams with good players that have poor records that are fighting the same battle. And, my thing to him was we got to stay the course. We got to keep finding ways to get better. We have to do a really good job of being great leaders and showing guys the right way to do things, keeping our focus. Him and myself getting frustrated and angry to the point where it's unproductive is not going to work. We have to, do things right. We have to show the right way. We have to act a certain way to where we can bring guys along with us and find a way to turn the corner.
We'll take a few more for Coach. Brian from the Post, your line is active.
Just 2 plays of Sam's, Adam, I wanted to ask you about. The interception before halftime, what you saw there when you watched it on film, and the 4th and 1, was that his own read, and should he have kept it and gone to the outside?
I don't think he could have kept it. Jerry Hughes did a really good job with the technique he was playing. If he would have kept it after seeing how Jerry Hughes played one of the nakeds where he stuck his foot in the ground, redirected, and bursted towards Sam, that kind of make him force, didn't give him enough time to where he had to throw that ball to Wesco. If Sam would have pulled that, I think Jerry Hughes would have got him. I thought it was the right read. We were just late coming off on the linebacker, which we have to anticipate. Those guys hitting it downhill faster on 4th and 1. I thought that was really more of the issue than whether or not Sam should have pulled it. And then on the interception, it was just one of those ones where we high-low the corner. That guy kind of was middle in it. His shoulders were open. Ideally, would love for him to drop the ball down to the underneath guy. It's just one of those split-second decisions that that was the choice made, and we got to learn from that one.
Al from Newsday, your line is active.
Yeah, Adam, I have 2 questions. The first, you talked about the lump. What do you see going on there? Why do you think there's all this leakage? That was supposed to be the area that you addressed the most.
Can you repeat the first part of your question? Because I couldn't hear what you said. What did you say on the first part?
About the lumping. You talked about the leakage and everything. That was the area you guys really focused on addressing in the offseason. What do you think is the issue there, and how do you change that?
It seems like we've just had a lot of moving parts with guys in and out with the injuries. That's never ideal, right? Like, how much time have we really had time on task with the same group? I thought we were trending in the right direction when we first started. Losing Beck for a while, then moving George around, and then Alex being out. It just kind of, when you start moving these parts around, it makes it tough. When we got a different group out there all the time. I do think we had a tough matchup this week. Ed Oliver being in there, and Jerry, and a couple of those other guys that can cause a lot of damage. I mean, that team over the last 3 or 4 years have been known for that. How strong their defensive line has been. They lost some dudes going into this year to where they weren't as deep, but at the same time, they still have really good players on that front line. We just have to find a way to do a better job of knowing where our help is, using our help better. Keeping teams off balance with the run game. I mean, it's one of those deals where we got to help ourselves sometimes. When we get our opportunities, we got to hit them, whether it be in the run game or pass game. And when that happens, then you keep those guys on their toes, to where, they can't just tee off on you. When you get in a 2-minute situation against that group, it makes it really hard because they know what you're going to do. They know you're going to throw it. And they're going to come off the ball, and they're going to look to do one thing, and that's get sacks and cause turnovers. So, being in that position at the end, it was, we had to hold up, and we weren't able to do it. Things collapsed quick. And then when they started adding in some of these pressures they were running yesterday, it was, made things difficult for us.
And my second one was about, you talked yesterday about how by not doing the play calling, you were able to take an overall look at the operation and everything. What do you notice, and what do you see there that you want to tweak or fix or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff are things that, I'm not trying to be like secretive or anything, but I'd kind of like to adjust first before I even would say that I ever thought they were a problem. So, but it gives you an overall perspective on a lot of different things in a lot of different areas, throughout the whole week. There are some things that I'm looking to kind of adjust and see if we can get better in some areas and see if that can help. Like right now, it's trying to find things that may be an issue and try to do something different. That's really kind of the whole premise on what I was thinking leading into the last week of, what can we do different to put ourselves in better position?
Our last question comes from JP from Forbes. Your line is active.
Adam, I know as coaches you really don't pay attention to this stuff, but you're almost a 20-point underdog, and just the fact that obviously no one's giving you much of a chance. As a coach, can you use any of that as motivation, the fact that it's kind of an us against the world mentality? Can that be a motivating factor a little bit?
I mean, it's a fine line because a lot of times, especially in this league, every game's so important. Whether it's week 1, week 5, week 8, that when you get into these games, you're learning these opponents. You're not paying attention to that. You try to focus solely on what's our game plan, how are we defending, how are we going to attack this team. I just think it's talking about, hey, we're underdogs and those things. I haven't seen guys really respond to things like that. I've seen mostly guys that focus on, all right, what's my job? How do I do it? And when I get to Sunday, executing it, on game day.